These 6 setups were used by the pro player Henry to win the Madden 26 MCS Kickoff Challenge, giving him his 8th career championship belt and adding another $50,000 to his already absurd career earnings. So today we're taking a deep dive into all 6 of his setups out of the Jacksonville Jaguars playbook and going over the 3 key concepts that Henry used to take down the best pro players in the world. And by doing that, we'll be able to understand exactly what goes on inside the mind of the greatest Madden player of all time. In the quarterfinals, Henry got things started by taking on MCS newcomer 9. After 9 started off the game with a dominant touchdown drive, Henry was looking to answer with a touchdown of his own. After taking barely any time to get down inside the 10-yard line, on 3rd and goal in the first quarter, Henry went with setup number 1. The play is flood switch in the formation gun bunch wide nasty, and Henry preferred this specific play because of the giant zig route on the outside receiver. Building around that zig, Henry's adjustments were to put his outside bunch receiver on a speed out, put his inside bunch receiver on a deep dig route, put his solo receiver on a return route, and put his running back on a swing route. After the snap, 9 was forced to switch stick over to the right side to guard the out route and the giant zig route. Meanwhile, on the left side, the running back swing route was holding the outside cornerback in the hard flat outside, leaving an open window for Henry to hit his solo receiver on the return route for the easy touchdown. Now, after 9 was able to keep Henry out of the end zone, at the end of the second quarter, the game went into halftime with Henry trailing by a score of 21-17. But Henry received the second half kickoff and got right back to business by easily marching down the field. It was on this drive that Henry frequently made use of a brand new game mechanic, which brings us to key concept number 1, which is untarget defender. New in Madden 26, whenever you're on offense, you have the option from your pass protection menu to untarget a defender, meaning that defender will be completely ignored by your offensive players in their blocking assignments. Whenever you see the flame icon moving over defenders' heads pre-snap, that was Henry choosing which defender he wanted to untarget. The reason it was so important to use this mechanic is that 9 was trying to mug the gap between the center and the guard to distract Henry's offensive lineman to try and get a rusher to come in free off the edge. With Henry telling his O-line to ignore the user on every play, it ensured that all of 9's rushers got picked up, giving Henry a clean pocket to throw from. Now, when Henry got down to the 5-yard line, that's when he finished the drive with setup number 2. The play is China Y post in the formation gun trips tight end, and his adjustments were to put his running back on a flat route, put his tight end on a crosser, put his inside trips receiver on a slant, and put his middle trips receiver on a flat route. This route combo has incredible spacing, and Henry's inside trips receiver on the slant was completely unguarded for the easy touchdown, giving Henry a 24-21 lead. After forcing 9 into throwing an interception on the following drive, Henry controlled the rest of the game to send himself on to the next round. Now in the semifinals, Henry went up against fellow belt winner Lambo. Henry started with the ball and initially picked up right where he left off in the previous game by easily moving the ball down the field. But that's when Lambo surprised Henry with a blitz, and the throw out of sack resulted in a D-line interception that put Henry in an early hole. After Henry answered with a defensive touchdown that the broadcast missed, and after Lambo scored an offensive touchdown of his own, Henry was putting together another drive right before halftime. Facing a crucial 3rd and 9 with under a minute left in the first half, he showed off setup number 3. The play is drive wide corner in the formation gun bunch X nasty, and his adjustments were to put his solo receiver on a deep dig route, put his middle bunch receiver on a streak, and put his tight end on a corner route. This route combo is designed to annihilate man coverage, and after the snap, his tight end on the corner route got a ton of separation for an easy completion to keep the drive alive. Henry ultimately kicked a field goal to go into halftime with a solid 10-7 lead. Lambo started the second half by going down the field with a solid drive of his own, but when it came down to 4th and 3 on the 4-yard line, he decided to roll the dice. Lambo's receiver on the in route wasn't able to hold onto the ball, and Henry got a huge stop to force the turnover on downs. After picking up a couple of first downs to get him to midfield, Henry was trying to continue his dominant drive when he showed off setup number 4. The play is motion cross post in the formation gun bunch X nasty, and his adjustments were to put his solo receiver on a deep dig, put his middle bunch receiver on a streak, put his outside bunch receiver on a drag, and block his tight end. After the snap, Henry was able to hit his receiver on the drag underneath, and then he showed off some insane stick work to make not one, but 2 huge spin moves that made literally all the defenders miss, and he took it all the way to the end zone to give himself a 17-7 lead. Lambo wasn't going down without a fight though, and in the blink of an eye, he put together his own touchdown drive early in the 4th quarter to make it just a 3-point game. After Lambo's onside kick was unsuccessful, it instantly put Henry in striking range. coverage. That's when on 2nd and 4, he showed off key concept number 2, which is the playmaker feature. After all of his initial reads recovered, Henry rolled out to his left, looking for someone to get open. That's when he used the playmaker feature to tell his running back to break off his route and run straight up the field. He just had to wait a second for the running back to get separation, and then he was able to drop the ball in there and take it all the way for another easy touchdown. Now, the playmaker feature is slightly different this year than in previous years. In the past, you could simply playmaker by pointing and holding your right stick in whatever direction you wanted to direct your nearest receiver. However, since EA introduced QB skill moves behind the line of scrimmage, now if you just point the right stick, it'll cause your QB to juke or truck. As a result, you now have to hold the left trigger or L2 and then point your right stick in the direction you want your closest receiver to run, and if you can master that, then you'll be able to turn broken plays into touchdowns just like Henry. The 3rd and 4th quarters of this game were an absolute scoring frenzy, but Henry always maintained a lead, and by the end, he was able to kneel out the clock to secure his 38-28 victory and send himself onto the finals. In the championship game, Henry took on John Beast, his toughest competition yet. Things couldn't have gotten off to a better start for Henry when John Beast threw an interception on a bad pass lead, and then on 3rd and goal, Henry was able to fortunately hang on to this ball through heavy traffic to give himself an early 7-0 lead. But things weren't all smooth sailing, as John Beast answered with a touchdown of his own, and then forced a turnover on downs on Henry's next drive, and then scored another touchdown to give John a 14-7 lead. On the ensuing drive, Henry couldn't do anything on offense, and on 4th and 11 and the single most important play of the game, Henry turned to setup number 5. The play is motion PA cross switch in the formation gun Y-off trio close, and his adjustments were to put his outside receiver on a slot fade, put his slot receiver on a streak, put his running back on a wheel, put his tight end on a post, and put his solo receiver on a streak. The reason Henry used this play in particular is that the play action blocking was the best way to counter the potential Texas 4-man stunt that John might be sending. After the snap, John initially switch sticks to guard the slot receiver on the streak before switch sticking back across the field onto his outside third to try and undercut the post route. Henry read John's strategy perfectly, and by pulling the outside third down for a brief moment, John had left the solo receiver wide open, and Henry launched it to him for the massive touchdown. That touchdown is exactly what Henry needed, because after that, he started playing lights out. John had absolutely no answer for Henry's adjustments on either side of the ball, and in a matter of minutes, the game was turning into a blowout. Looking to maintain control of the game with 4 minutes left in the 3rd quarter, Henry showed off setup number 6. The play is motion Y corner under in the formation gun bunch X nasty, and his adjustments were to put his solo receiver on a stem down corner route, put his running back on an in route, put his tight end on a stem down corner route, and put his middle bunch receiver on a post. After the snap, John's zone defenders couldn't get outside fast enough to guard the tight end on the stem down corner route, and Henry was off to the races to give himself a ridiculous 24-point lead. At this point, Henry was in cruise control, but in the 4th quarter, he continued to show us just how skilled he is with key concept number 3, which is freeform passing. On 4th and 4, Henry spotted his receiver in one-on-one coverage with outside leverage, and he threw a freeform pass to the outside to secure another easy touchdown. To use freeform passing, you need to make sure that you have your passing type on placement or placement inaccuracy, and make sure you have your pass lead increase set to small. A reticle speed of 7 out of 20 is recommended, but it's not really as important as people think. Out on the field, as you're throwing the ball, hold down the left trigger or L2 while pointing and holding your left stick in the direction you want to freeform. This will essentially create a super pass lead and put the ball in a spot where only your receiver can catch it. With Henry leading 52-27, running out the clock was just a formality. Henry had secured championship belt number 8, and he had done it with his most dominating performance ever. He had proved all the haters wrong and confirmed that he truly is the greatest Madden player of all time. And if you guys are interested in learning Henry's super glitchy engage blitz out of the nickel wide formation that he used to force turnovers on the best pro players in the world, it's one of a ton of different setups that we teach in our Eagles defense game plan at playbookprofessor.gg. Playbookprofessor.gg is our community of over 1,000 active members who are taking their Madden game to a whole new level, and 98% of them say they won more games after joining. Whether you're looking for new schemes, advanced tips, or an active community of Madden players just like yourself, playbookprofessor.gg has exactly what you're looking for. Don't forget to use code SPRUCE to get 30% off at checkout on both monthly and yearly memberships, and I'll see you over there at playbookprofessor.gg.